Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night Q&A. This
Hello.
is the night when we talk about fun things. I love the winter time because there's not so much physical work out there on the ranch, and we can do fun things and focus on the opportunity to learn. This is a time of year when I really focus a lot on my own education. So we've been spending time on webinars and talking to people across the country learning the latest scientific breakthroughs. Although I haven't heard a great breakthrough this winter yet, but we have been having good discussions with scientists and ranchers from around the world. So that's always a pretty fantastic thing. And I'd just like to remind everybody at the beginning of these Thursday nights that I have 9 ways to help people grow food. So go to the website, check it out. Our website is brand new in the last month or so. We've got it all fixed up and it's looking really good. So we're excited about that. I had somebody contact me today. We had a Zoom call together and they were super excited about our website. They said, your website is so good. It is so thorough. We're so happy it has so much information. We can find everything we need to know right there. So that was nice. We've put a lot of work into it. So I'm glad that somebody was able to enjoy that. We are signing people up right now for our summer class, the class that is 17 weeks long. We call that the Georgic Schoolroom. And it's super fun because we have 3 people signed up. So that's pretty great. So we are taking the applications for that right now. For those of you who enjoy our Thursday night class, here's a reminder that on February 22nd, we're going to start discussing books. So from February 22nd until May 16th, we'll be discussing a book every night. And you can come and enjoy the book discussion. You don't have to read the book. If you want to, that would be great. You can join in on the discussion. They'll be pretty short discussions. The students who will be coming to my class in the summertime, we're going to be reading these together throughout the winter so that when they get here, they have context and some education about the things which we will be discussing in our class. Boot camp is coming up January 11th, 12th, 13th. We've had people signing up for that. We're going to do it for sure because people have signed up. And so if you want to come to this class, come and let your friends and family know about this. That is a on-site class for 3 days. You come here in my greenhouse on the ranch and I show you everything I know. The summer class starts May 20th through September 14th. Please share this with people that you know so that they can know that this exists. I only started it 2 years ago, so I've only done it twice. So this next year will be my 3rd year, and we've made accommodations for 20 students. So if you get my newsletter, then you got a video just, I think yesterday we sent it out maybe, or the day before. You should have a video that talks about that. Please send that to your friends, your family, your acquaintances, so that they can know that we even exist, because nobody knows we exist yet. So we're just trying to get the word out there. So thank you for doing that. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing in my winter room, and then we will open this up for Q&A. I've been ordering seeds. Most of my seeds I save seeds for probably about half of the things that I grow. And I grow enough food to feed about 20 people or, or fruit and vegetables. So I've got all my seeds ordered. I may order something else because I'm always finding something, then I think I have to have it. But the bulk of my seeds are ordered. Why order seeds now? It's not even December. Because the best seeds, the greatest varieties get sold out soon. And a lot of times if you're ordering when it's way too late, like May, but you want to put in a garden and you go to seed catalogs, a lot of times they don't have seeds anymore. So the winter time is the time to study the varieties and figure out the best varieties that you want. And there's always new varieties. So you should get online and look up 50 or 100 websites of different seed companies and see what they have to offer. It helps you get a great education and you learn how to grow your own food just by doing that. Making compost is a great wintertime project. I just started a compost pile today. If you're making compost outside, I make compost in a greenhouse, not my house. Let's be clear. But if you're making it outside, then you need a very large pile. It needs to be a lot of cubic feet or it can freeze. And if it freezes, it's not going to work. So it needs to be a big pile, like about like 100, about 100 5-gallon buckets full of material is what you would want to make a compost pile. That's about how big you'd want it to be for the winter time. If you're inside of a greenhouse where it's not going to freeze hard at night, then it can pretty much be any size to make a compost. Planning menus for next year is a fantastic thing that I love to do in the winter time. It's because I want to be able to grow the food that I eat, grow enough food. And so I simply plan a menu, and that's the easiest way to know what to grow in the garden. So that's a good thing. And sometimes that changes from year to year. In fact, this year it's changing because I've been reading books on nutrition. And so I'm learning more about which varieties to grow that give us certain nutritional qualities. So that's kind of a new thing that I'm learning that I haven't really known in the past. So that's a fun thing. Continued education of all kinds of things. We should be studying 20 different things to keep our minds young and healthy and alive. I was even thinking about studying language. I only speak English. I'm probably not going to do it this winter, but it's a great thing to do to keep our minds working because it helps us make connections when we learn different stuff and different things. You know, I went to massage school when I was in my mid-40s and became a licensed massage therapist. That was great because I'm a better farmer because I did something that is seemingly completely unrelated to farming. But it made me a better farmer to understand the human body and how it works. So I love continued education. And of course, telling stories, especially if you have family around, telling stories is a fascinating and a beautiful thing to keep our education going. A lot of times people say, reach out to people in need. I say, reach out to people because all people are in need. If they're a person, they need stuff. So those are good things to be doing, and that helps us to be better people, better gardeners. And of course, we need to be meditating, thinking, praying, writing, reading, do artwork, enjoy life. All of those things are very important. I feel bad for people who go to work every day because they don't have exactly what they need. They can't do all this stuff all the time. But here's some books that I've read in the last 4 weeks. And I didn't read any of these. I listened to them on Audible while I've been doing my chores in the mornings, during the day. When I'm out working on the ranch, I listen. So Eating on the Wild Side, that's a new book that I've never read before. I highly recommend it. Sorry, I don't have the author here. I don't remember her name, but Eating on the Wild Side. I think it's Joe Robinson, but don't quote me on that one. It's a good book, and she talks about nutrition. She's done a lot of research on that. Very, very good book. So I've listened to it twice. And then Countdown, that's an interesting book. It's about a lot of toxins in our world today and the importance of growing our own food and how that can help us to remove toxins that are in our environment. As a Man Thinketh, that's an old-time favorite. I probably listened to it 30 times now in my life. The Source, that's a brand new one. And that's by a doctor talking about the brain, saying that our brain is the source of our accomplishment and the things that we're able to create. And then A Message to Garcia, that's an old-time favorite. I love that one. It's about actually getting a job done. Just do the job that you need to do. Have the stamina to do the work. So that's a good one. And it's short. You can listen to that 5 times in one day. It's a very short one. The One Straw Revolution, I listened to that again just this week. And then Human Touch is beautiful, and that's a brand new one. It's by Mitch Albom. And then The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, it's I've listened to that about 8 times over the years. So these are good ones. But this is what I've been doing in my winter room while we've been keeping the fire going, and marketing. I've been marketing. Most of my days are spent marketing for my summer class, trying to let people know that we exist. Okay, I'm gonna stop this share screen here, and we will open this up to questions. Let's have conversation. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let's talk.
Always thinking about a question.
Fantastic.
So a week from today, though, we go to Colorado because a week from tomorrow, Holly will walk across the stage and become a doctor.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Congratulations, Holly. I love that.
It's very exciting.
So she'll have her PhD, and then she wants to teach part-time and be a farmer part-time.
Yeah.
So you've been an inspiration.
For sure.
Nice.
And I'll have more brain available to read some of these things so we can figure out what we're doing.
That is great. Good for you. Life accomplishments are beautiful. I hope you do something great to celebrate. This is good. Good for you.
We have family coming out, and I wanted to we'll have a little dinner together. Be here, dad and mom, her brother and her niece. And then of course I'll be there as well. But we'll have a dinner with them. We've got some special family time, and I'm ordering special cookies. Oh well, we'll see.
That's good. That's good.
Then we're doing something a little different. We're going down to Colorado Springs on Saturday to tour the Peterson Space Force base. It's named after Holly's great uncle. So there's a museum with family stuff. So her dad actually is named after her uncle. So that'll be special for family and stuff. So
nice. That's awesome.
Then we're going to tour Celestial Seasonings Tea Friday morning in Boulder, the factory.
Perfect. Good.
So,
kinds of fun things.
So I'm kind of the tour director, I guess. I don't know.
All right, that's fantastic.
On our property, we've been spreading our dry pasture seed everywhere. And we're supposed to get snow. It's supposed to be snowing right now to get our precipitation started for the winter, but every time I look out, it hasn't snowed yet. But anyway, so we got a lot of seed spread everywhere that we could reach. And so we'll see if some of that comes up in the spring to get our soil out of the dust bowl that it's in.
And then we caught a gopher last week.
Oh yeah, we caught a gopher, our first one.
Nice. That's
a lot out there.
That's good. You are welcome to the Georgic tradition. First gopher.
William, I have a question.
Go ahead, Melanie.
I found some tulip bulbs that didn't get planted last year, and some of them were still kind of hard, and some of them are just powdery. And as I was breaking them apart to see if there was anything viable in the whatever it is, the bulb, I wondered if I could take some of that powdery stuff and throw it in the garden on top of where I was planting, or is it decay and don't use it?
No, it's fine. It's just organic matter. The microbes are going to eat it, and they'll recycle all of that material, and so it'll help to be food to create your mineral cycle, make your mineral cycle work. So it's totally fine.
I didn't put it in the hole, so I can just sprinkle it on the top right now. Then it's going to snow maybe tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's just fine. Not a problem at all.
Well, I wasn't thinking problem. I just wondering if it would help it make it better.
Yes, organic matter always makes it better. So yes.
Okay. Awesome. Good. And then today we got a truckload of leaves and grass dumped onto one area of the garden. It's all wet. So I don't know when we're going to spread it all out. We didn't get a chance to do that today. It was too cold. But what would you say? Just leave it in the pile that it's in. Oh, part of the reason why John didn't spread it out was because I haven't had access to some of the fruit and vegetables that I had down there because we had pneumonia. But I haven't been down there. And so there are some things that still have seeds in them. I think that I should be able to still use them and, you know, bring the melons in or whatever and take some seeds out of them, right?
Yeah, that should be good. I mean, if you leave them too
Okay,
long, they're going to start to decompose. So you don't want to leave them
Okay.
for very long. You want to go get them if you're going to save seed.
All right. And once I get all that, John was so good. He said, I want you to get your seeds. So he didn't spread it out, you know, all the leaves and grass. So we'll
Nice.
just do that. And then it's going to decay the way it is, right? I hope there's not too many grass.
Yeah. Just remember that when you spread out leaves like that on a garden, the wind can blow them away. So,
Yes.
so if you can water it with a sprinkler to get them good and wet, to soak down good, you want to keep them wet. If you can spread them right before a snowstorm, that's perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, just remember that detail.
Okay, here's, hey, so, William, my, brother-in-law is on. I guess he's Samsung SM.
Okay, nice.
Tom Brown.
No. Oh, Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, I'm sorry. Tom, that's close. I mean,
No.
they're both,
Why did you say that? That's funny.
they're both Welsh, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, Tom's here. We invited him. We were at their place this weekend and
Idaho Falls.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. All right, if you have any gardening questions, let's
He
hear 'em.
has loads of questions, I think.
tell him
Well,
how to,
we can take questions until 7:30, so start asking.
he can take his camera off if he wants to. Push the camera button.
Yeah, have you got, I don't know, it doesn't look like he has
A microphone.
a microphone, and that may be because when he was going on, he didn't push Wi-Fi.
Well, maybe you'll have to.
Okay, while you guys are figuring that out, Ezekiel, do you have any questions tonight?
So he can ask through the phone.
I do have a question.
All right, go ahead, Zeke.
So I am very anxious about my garden this next year because just for context for everybody else, I got my soil samples back and apparently they're quite good. And this next year I'm going to be focusing on yields over just building my soil health at the sacrifice of everything else. And so I don't know what I'm doing. What should I do to my plants to try and focus on getting yields instead of just building soil health? Like just fertilizer, or are there other things that you would recommend? I know this is a very broad question, but if you have any tips and tricks to share, I would appreciate.
Hey, fantastic. Okay, so Ezekiel is my son. He brought soil samples for Thanksgiving, and we spent a day in the laboratory looking at them, and he had some of the most beautiful fungus I've ever seen, and it was awesome. And he doesn't know this, so I'm going to tell everybody right now. I took his samples, I mixed them all together. He had like maybe 5 of them, I don't remember, but I mixed them all together and I put them in a little spot, and I've been feeding them extra little compost things to try to feed all those good microbes that he infected my ranch with in a good way. We shouldn't say infect, it has a negative connotation. That he inoculated my ranch with, there we go. And so that was fantastic. So all kinds of beneficial fungi, we saw protozoa, nematodes, there were good things in his soil. So I've been growing those in my laboratory to try to increase the population of the beneficials. So that's great. But that didn't answer your question. How do you focus on yield? Focus on the largest varieties of the species you want. Let me say that in English. If you want a big onion, then order Elsa Craig's and Walla Wallas, because they naturally get large. Okay, and so even if your soil is not as good as it should be yet, then you might get a good sized onion because you have a variety that has the genetics to get big. So if you're focusing on yield, get the varieties that already will get big. So that's a good thing. So for cabbages, if you want to get a normal sized cabbage in a poor soil, you would order a megaton hybrid because that's one of the biggest ones there is. But if you want to grow a giant cabbage, then order the megaton hybrid and feed it lots of fertilizer. So the way your soil looked in my soil laboratory, Ezekiel, I don't know that you need to feed a lot of fertilizer. But this is the awesome year when you would plant a whole bunch of things. So let's say you plant 10 tomato plants. Well, you're going to fertilize 3 of them in different parts of the garden. And if those 3 respawn and get a lot bigger than the other ones, you know your soil health isn't there. But if the plant stays the same size, in other words, if all of the ones you plant are the same, therefore you didn't see a response from the ones you fertilized, it means you have arrived at a beautiful place of soil health. But the way everything looked under the microscope, you're getting close. It could be another couple of years, but you are getting close. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I'll be sure to share pictures if I have great successes or anything like that.
Nice. Thank you. People should share their pictures of failures too, because that helps us learn.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, John.
So we walked around Tom's yard this weekend, and he has some fabulous things going. One of the questions we had was about fertilizer. He has one of those rolling kind of fertilizer mechanisms, and I don't know. You talked about fertilizer earlier. Would you mind repeating what you said about fertilizer? You said something about you have yours in your greenhouse.
Yeah. So fertilizer is plant food.
Compost is what I meant.
Oh, compost.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I can talk about compost. So compost, the purpose of compost is not plant food. The purpose of fertilizer is plant food. Sometimes people use fertilizer to be something else, you know. They just think it's going to do everything, and it doesn't. Over time, fertilizer becomes a problem because you get too many salts in the soil. But a lot of times people make compost and they think it's only fertilizer, meaning they think that compost is only a plant food. And so the difference between fertilizer and compost can be confusing. So the purpose of compost is to grow the beneficial microbes that feed plants. Okay? It's all about the microbes. Think of the most productive land on Earth where humans don't do much. And that would be the redwoods and other old growth forests like that around the world, across Siberia and Canada. There's a lot of places with beautiful old growth forests, and it's the most fertile soil in the world. Nobody's out there pruning the trees. Nobody's out there spreading fertilizer. Nobody's spraying for bugs. Nobody's doing all the normal activities that people think you have to do in a garden. Okay? But it's growing these massive plants that are requiring more from the soil than the crops that we grow in our farms and gardens. All right? So we want to be making compost for the purpose of creating more of the beneficial microbes, and then we put the compost on the ground, and that inoculates the ground. Inoculate just means it introduces. So we're introducing the beneficial microbes to the ground, and after 3 to 5 years of doing the right things, we never have to feed plants again. But farmers in industrial agriculture, we are adding fertilizer every year. That shows us that we are doing something wrong. We're not doing all the things we need to do to make the soil healthy. That's my spiel on compost. What else do you want to know?
Okay, and so so you're doing your compost during the winter in your greenhouse. If
Yeah.
we were to do compost outdoors, you say we need a huge pile.
Yeah, you need about 100 5-gallon buckets of material to start with. To have a big enough, like a normal pickup truck heaped really high. That would be enough. So it's not really that much. But I mean, to somebody in a yard in a town, it seems like a lot, you know. But that would be a big enough mass to create a good compost pile.
That's what you have to do.
And you're talking about both summer and winter?
No, wintertime, you can get away with about half that size to have a healthy compost pile. There's several reasons why people's compost fail, and one of the biggest reasons is they don't have enough mass to start with, so it can't get heated up, whether it's winter or summer or any time. They think, oh, I have all this compost material, and they have 3 5-gallon buckets worth. I mean, 15 gallons of material is not enough. It's not going to work. It's just not enough mass. You have to have more than that. So,
and the goal is to get it to what, to 131 degrees inside the pile, and then start
yeah,
moving it around, right?
yeah. 131 would be your minimum temperature. Yeah.
So even higher then.
Yeah, from 131 to 160. Like one up to 170 would be okay. Yeah.
Tom had a question too, William, about the square foot garden beds. I told him he should cover them with leaves. He's got, you know, his grasses and other things that he can put on. What's the best way? What should be right next to the dirt? The leaf material, the dry material, or something wetter? Give us some advice on that.
Yeah, so if you have dry leaves, you need to get them wet. So it doesn't matter what's near the soil surface, it all has to be wet. I mean, we could all go we could maybe I shouldn't use that analogy. I was gonna say we could just get a library of books and shred them up because nobody reads them anymore anyway. That's me being satirical, but
Yeah.
but we can shred those up. It'd be great paper, right? But if we put them on dry, it's not going to do any good. We have to get them wet so that they will decompose. I'm trying to get people to read more books, so that's why that was on my mind. I'm really not a tyrant. I'm the opposite.
So
get people
what
to
are
get
the layers
educated.
then? What are the layers then that we should be putting on top of our?
It doesn't matter. Any organic matter.
Okay.
Anything that will rot.
Okay.
So newspaper, cardboard, old paper sacks from bakeries that get thousands of sacks from flour. There's all kinds of industrial waste that is perfectly clean, beautiful organic matter that should be building soils instead of just being burned or going to landfills where it does no good. And it's free. It's free. We just have to go find it. People are trying to get rid of it. It costs them money to throw it away. Go find these places and recycle the stuff in a way that's going to work. Meaning compost it and put it in your garden. But yeah, Melanie, it all has to be wet. Get it wet. You can put it on there dry, but get the miserable, get the water going on it. Get your garden hose sprinkling it. It's awesome in the winter when you have your sprinkler going. It'll make your neighbor's eye twitch. You might get a fine if you live in an HOA, but I don't know anything about that stuff. That's communist to me, but we can leave my bad attitude can stay out of it. But the thing that's beautiful is you have all kinds of gorgeous ice sculptures after a good cold night. Go out there in the morning and your sprinkler's still going and there's ice everywhere. It's a winter wonderland. It's great.
Pipes are frozen.
Yeah, well, we'll probably do ours during the daytime. Sprinkle it, I mean.
I don't know if we can. Well, we can from the house, I guess, if
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
frozen. Okay.
Hey,
Yep.
it's
Well, that's
7:31. I have time for one more question.
Tom have another question? Tom, do you have another question?
We can hear you.
Oh. Should you cut the raspberries down or just let them stand?
That depends on the type of raspberry you have. If they're an everbearer, then you want to leave the canes up high because you'll get a spring crop. If they're a fall bearer, then you need to cut them down because you're only going to get the berries on the new growth that grows in the summer. So if you don't know what type you have, you need to do some research and figure it out. Or just watch them next year and see if you get a spring crop or not. But the canes that you prune off, they're fantastic. They're going to be a fungal food. So you never want to take that stuff away from your soil. You want to shred it up and keep it on the soil. So, yeah.
Okay.
So good question. I
So
wish
can
I had
we
a better
rake up-
answer. Go ahead, Holly.
Can we rake up dead tumbleweeds to put on our compost pile? We have a
Yes.
lot of them.
Yes. No, the tumbleweeds that are going around, they're going to be filled with weed seeds. I mean, the seeds, you know. And so if you have a hot compost that gets up to at least 131 Fahrenheit for 3 days, or 150 for 2 days, or 160 for 1 day, and then you're turning it every time it reaches that maximum heat threshold, and thoroughly, and you do a really good thermophilic compost, it will kill those weed seeds. That's one of the main reasons of doing a hot compost. So yes, if that's what you're doing, fantastic. If you have a sheep to eat those weeds, they will turn them into manure, and the sheep's digestive system generally kills the weed seeds because they have a hot internal temperature. If you have a cow that eats them, it will not kill the weed seeds. It will make the weed seeds grow. This is why cattle and sheep and goats and horses and donkeys and rabbits are all fantastic ecological tools to turn the earth into a beautiful paradise. We just have to be ecologically literate enough to know how to use them in the landscapes that we have. See how fun the Georgic schoolroom is? Woo! Okay, thank you for being with us tonight. I will be back next week, same time, same place. If you need consulting, if you need mentoring, if you need all that stuff, go to my website, www.georgicrevolution.com, and I am available for hire. Thank you for being here tonight, and good night.
Thank
Good night.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.